The message of the song being too big and too small. And isn't that such a problem, right? Too big, too small. Do you ever find that your brain kind of wears the rest of you out? It just kind of gnaws away at you, right? And just to quiet it and let your heart take over. I had an experience once, and I was walking in the park, and I was worshiping the one that I love. And as I was, it was nasty weather that day. It was like hailing and storming and all kinds of stuff. But I went out there to worship in the park because I knew if it was such lousy weather, there wouldn't be anybody else out there. And so that gave me an element of freedom, that I could dance and I could sing and I could jump up and down and I could be just like a child. And nobody would be watching me other than the one that I love. So in secrecy, in the secret place, I went out, and it was a nice big park. And so as I was singing away, opening up the gates of my heart, I really felt the Spirit tell me to sit down on a picnic table and wait. And so as I did that, I sat down, and all of a sudden I began to weep. And I wept, and I wept, and I wept. And then, I do not know if in the body or if in the spirit, I went up. I went up past the second heaven into the third heaven. I went up, and I met with the one that I love. And in that experience, I realized that, you know what? There's something inside of us that waits for that moment. And a lot of times, we don't even recognize it. We don't even know it exists. All we know is that there's something missing. We don't have an expression for it. We don't have a grid for it. And when I was there, I met with the one that I love. And you know, I'll tell you something, we use that word pretty flimsy, love. In that time period, I had lost my mother, and she'd been gone for about 8 months, and I was past that, you know when you get past that mourning, and there's a time to mourn, there's a season for everything. And when I was up there, I saw her. I saw her at a distance, and I'm just going to tell you the way it is. I'm not going to flower it up. And well, she was way over there, and she was very pretty. She was 74 when she died, and now I looked over, and she was like 33 or 30. She was beautiful, and she had a beautiful flower wreath around her head, and she was dressed in white, and she had bare feet. Now, you had to know my mother. All us Van Tunnenbrooks all had ugly feet, except Mama. She was the only one in our house that had pretty feet. And so it was no surprise to me that her feet would be bare, so she could dance free. She liked those feet, and she always thanked God for giving her those pretty feet, because she had so much to compare them with, which is ours. Because ours were pretty ugly. Anyway, when I saw her, it was like she saw me, I saw her, and we ran towards each other. And it's funny because there wasn't a pull. It wasn't a needy love. It was a pure, holy, gorgeous, wonderful love. There wasn't any tug, 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 I need you. It was like coming together and celebrating each other in this holy moment, in this incredible environment. And also what happened was, so we hugged. And it was almost simultaneously that we both turned and we saw together at the same moment. Timing is everything in heaven. We saw the one we love. and we were attracted to the one we love. Not because of our need, but just because it was holy and pure, and it was lovely. And so we ran towards him. And it's interesting, in heaven there is no bounds of time and space in heaven. It's really an interesting place to be. And so that you can wow, it's like your arms, you might think your arms are only this long, but in heaven they're longer. For some way, you're just beyond time and space. And I don't think we can even imagine. Like, we don't really can grasp that kind of thing. Anyway, so we decided, my mother and I, simultaneously, because timing is everything in heaven. And it's all because timing is everything, because it's all sort of ordained by the Creator. It's all lined up. He's beyond time and space. He knows what happened yesterday. He knows what happened that day over there, and he knows what's going to go on tomorrow. Anyway, we decided that we would sing, and we would hold hands and worship the one we love. And I can't tell you what it was like. Like, I can't even begin to explain it. The love was so different up there. It was like there was no cost. I said, come. There is no cost to this. And love, as we know it here on earth, it seems to have a cost. It really does. Anyway, so all of a sudden, my mother and I were holding hands, and our arms are they're not like 3 feet anymore. They're like 12 feet. And the one we love is right in the middle, and we're dancing around him and singing around him and enjoying his company. And all of a sudden, he said it was time to go. And when I embraced my mother, once again, I cannot stress enough that the love there is so pure and holy. It's totally different than what it is here. And so we embraced, and she walked away. And then, of course, I spent some time with the one I love. And then, he held me in his arms. And I just absorbed his love and his light. And then it was time to go. And then I walked away, and when I opened up my eyes, there I was on the picnic bench, a few frozen tears on my face, just completely experiencing something that I will never, ever forget.